did not allow Hindley a good chance to throw him out. So on cue, same scouting report that we were picking up from up here, Waterloo did as well.
Snodgrass just gets a piece of that one. One run is in, a walk, a sacrifice bunt, an RBI single. Now a stolen base for Snodgrass. On deck, the number 9 hitter, Brian Schaub. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
When fans see coaches with stopwatches, they're watching the time from pitcher to catcher, which should be 1.5 or below when he picks up his foot, and then from catcher to second, which has to be under 2-1. You put those two together, and you got about 3.6 seconds to throw out most base runners. That's the norm by which coaches go by. They do that math and then decide, you know, depending on the hitter, the runner, the pitcher, all those things, when or when not they're going to run.
Which means you may have the fastest player on the field, but if that pitcher-catcher combo can do their jobs quickly, it really doesn't matter what kind of speed you have.
Absolutely.
Pretty good lead at second base now for Wittenauer. There he goes. Fly ball to center field. Camilleri coming on. Wittenauer will have to retreat and come back as Camilleri makes the catch. 2 outs. Wittenauer was nearly at third base by the time he had to slam on the brakes and come on back. So the number 9 hitter, Brian Schaub, a chance to pick up the second run of this inning and the second run of the game. Schaub, a senior, hitting .406 in that number 9 spot.
So Wittenauer saw a few pitches from Thorson, guessed correctly on a breaking ball, tried to get to third base with less than 2 outs. I think he'll be a little bit more conservative now with 2 outs.
And the reason is, of course, you have your number 9 hitter at the plate, so if you stay okay on the bases, at the very worst, you'll start the third inning with your leadoff batter.
Yeah, Aaron Aycock on deck, doubled on the very first pitch of the baseball game.
Inside to Schaub, the third baseman for the Bulldogs. The 3 losses on the season, a couple of them came to Highland and 1 to Triad. They split with Triad during the regular season and then destroyed Triad in the sectional semifinal 12-0. School record wins for Waterloo, 32-3.
And Kaneland with the school record wins with their 24 on the board.
3 balls and 1 strike. 14's been a magic number for Waterloo this year. They started the season with 14 straight victories, and right now they are on a 14-game streak here in the final days of the season. Runner going again. The throw down, and so much for the Bernhard Lindo strategy as Wittenauer gets thrown out at third to end the game. Good throw from Hindley to French, but a run is in. It scores on a single by Alex Wittenauer, and we'll go to the third inning with Waterloo on top of Kaneland, 1-0. Here in sunny Joliet, let's go down to the field and Sophia Minert.
David, Mark, you mentioned earlier in the game the long trip that the Waterloo fans had to make to get here for the game today, but they're going to have to go right back to Waterloo right after this game because graduation is tonight at 7 o'clock at the high school. Now, obviously, the baseball team advanced here to the state finals, so they will miss out on the school's graduation ceremony, but the school provided a private ceremony for the team on the actual baseball field. So there they were, the school board, the school administration, the principal handing out diplomas to Waterloo's 9 seniors Wednesday night with family and friends lining the foul lines. And now center fielder Aaron Aycock, he is actually the class's valedictorian, and so as tradition is, they provided him the opportunity to give his valedictorian speech. I had a chance to catch up with him last night, ask him what he told his classmates, and he said, yeah, I'll be honest, it was a pretty cliched valedictorian speech. He just said that his overall message was just how much he enjoyed being classmates with all of his friends, sharing the high school times together, said he had a great experience with them and sent them well wishes. And Aycock's valedictorian speech was recorded, so that speech will be played tonight at the school's graduation ceremony. Congratulations to all the Waterloo graduating seniors. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Sophia. That really is a great story in many different ways. However, now all those Waterloo seniors and parents who are back home watching on IHSA.tv, they already have a sneak preview of their valedictory address delivered by Aaron Aycock. But I think what is so great about this, obviously, it's great for the moment that the Waterloo administration did this, but think about 10, 15 years from now. These guys, we always talk about how the players will remember their championship weekends. It will be that much more for these people in orange and black. Very cool.
There's no doubt about that. And Sophia mentioned 9 seniors graduated, and all 9 of the seniors were at the minimum honorable mention all conference in the Mississippi Valley. At least all 9 of them got some kind of mention. That's the kind of baseball prowess they have as well.
This is Ty Heinley. Ball booted by Schaub at third, and Heinley will be at first on the error on Schaub. You know, back to the academic honors. So we take a look back at this grounder to Schaub, and that's one that he would certainly like to have back. How about this? 4 players, Gabe Hopkins, Nick Steppig, Brian Schwab, and Luke Wetzler. 30 or higher ACT scores.
That's getting it done in the classroom, and that's the epitome of what we say student athlete.
Leadoff man aboard, the tying run aboard. We go to the top of the order, and Kyle Davidson. And it looks like each of these teams going to use that short game here today.
So Kyle Davidson, if he's going to execute this bunt, he has to make a couple adjustments as he looks down to his third base coach, Mark Vogel, a Waterloo grad. He has to move up in the box. He has to get out and show it early and bunt the top half of the baseball.
Runner at first base is Mike Titoni, a courtesy runner for the catcher, Ty Heinley.
Now, that time, Crutchfield threw over to first. You watch the top hand of the bat. If you're Brian Aversa and say, is the bunt still on, then you call your defense accordingly.
One thing, if you are a courtesy runner, a pinch runner, as Brian Aversa has brought Titoni into the ball game, you have to be very aware of not making a mistake, being overly aggressive. Crutchfield very much aware of Titoni over there at first.
Now on that toss, Davidson did indeed start to bring the top hand or right hand up to the barrel of the bat. He showed bunt, and you're right, the courtesy runner here has to make sure he doesn't get caught between first and second.
This will get the job done. Crutchfield to Schleck. 1 out, but a runner goes to scoring position in the form of Mike Titoni.
Gotta love good execution. Nice sacrifice bunt in the previous inning by Nick Steppig led to a run, and then execution, catching the ball with the bat out in front right there by Kyle Davidson, moving the first Kaneland runner into scoring position. Or second time they've got a runner in scoring position.
In fact, they had that runner in scoring position last inning with nobody out, runners first and second, and that's where they stayed when Crutchfield got out of it. This Corey Landers, he grounded out to Scheck the first time up. Tying run at second base for Landers, who's driven in 12 runs this year. Big gap in right center field for Landers, a left fielder. He's going to go to the right side, but it's on the ground. Wittenauer to first for the second out as Titoni moves to third. That will leave it up to Joe Camilleri. Ty Heinley began this inning reaching on an error. That's 2 straight innings. Kaneland has had the leadoff man aboard. They failed to come up with anything last inning. What will happen here in the third, down 1-0? Camilleri with just 9 runs batted in this season in 88 at-bats. Wetzler has to go to his knees.
Very atypical of a 3-hole hitter. That many at-bats to not have many RBIs, but Coach Brian Aversa leaves him there. Feels that the lineup's not broke. Leave it alone right now, and it's been to the tune of getting them to the state semifinals.
Called strike. Our home plate umpires Bob DeLeonardis, Doug Swanson at first, Paul Schultz, the third base umpire.
Brian Aversa graduate of Geneva High School. Won a regional at Macon Meridian in 2006 before he came back home to Kaneland, right in the Geneva area.
Scooped into the air. Dillenberger will make the catch. And once again, a runner stranded in scoring position for Kaneland. 2 of the 3 innings, they've had chances. Nothing doing. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's a 1-0 lead for Waterloo over Kaneland in your 3A semifinals on IHSA.tv. Aaron Aycock to lead things off here as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning. A run scored in the 2nd, last inning for Waterloo, has given them the 1-0 lead. Now, if you believe in whether it be irony or coincidence or fate in our first game today, Nazareth scored a run in the 2nd inning. They ended up losing 3-1. Just saying,
Every game has its own identity, right?
I know that.
Every game has its own identity. But we'll see if that holds true. What have we said that in our, 9 tournament games thus far, the visiting team has won, 8 of them, right?
Yes.
So that takes away that myth of the home team having an advantage.
Aycock today doubled. His first time up, and he was stranded at second base in the 1st inning, wiped out. Eventually, the inning ended with a double play turned, a 6:43 double play turn by Kaneland.
Aycock, a good-looking hitter, 5'11", 155, 477 average, 45 runs scored. How about that for your leadoff man? Get on base, get him on, get him over, get him in has been the modus operandi for Aaron Aycock.
Okay, I'm going to step out here and take a chance here now. Who made the last out of last inning?
Well, see, I thought it was...
That was a caught stealing, right?
Yes.
And who was at the plate?
Schaub, and I thought that too. We have a man batting out of order, I believe, and I thought that too, but what did I miss?
I don't know, but we'll see.
It's exactly. We had a man caught stealing. That was Wittenauer at third base.
It was not a 3rd strike call last inning, was it? That we were watching the runner and didn't see maybe a possible 3rd strike call on Schaub?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have the count on my score sheet.
But Aycock is heading down to first base with the walk.
Pop out to the 3rd base. Oh no, you're good. Right.
Now Brian Aversa will come out to the mound.
Well, Brian Aversa right now going to talk to his pitcher, Bobby Thorson, talk about the possibility of a bunt here with Brad Dillenberg. We've seen the bunt utilized very well by both teams. Coach Aversa, we mentioned, a Geneva High School graduate. Came back to Kaneland. Feels like it's home to him, if you will. Done a great job with this baseball program here in his return to the Fox Valley area, if you will. Right now, just making sure that they know what bunt defense that they are in. A lot of times you'll see the first baseman, Kamel, charge hard here and look for the throw behind with Brian Dixon on any kind of missed bunt attempt if they indeed catch Waterloo trying to bunt. Again, watch the top hand of Dillenberger. He will show you if the bunt is on at all for Mark Vogel.
Okay, I have the scoring from last inning for you. I'll give it on this next pitch. Our friend Rich Piacek, who is the official scorer and statistician for this tournament. Well, here it is. On Brian Schaub was at the plate when Wittenauer was thrown out stealing 3rd. That last pitch to Schaub was ball 4. So he had actually walked on that pitch officially, and then the caught stealing, of course, ended the inning.
Aha. So it was a 3-ball, but
Aycock over at first base, getting back safely.
And again, you go back to that. I think that was a big play because you had first and second then turn the lineup over, and maybe not the best percentage play by Wittenauer. There's an old baseball rule. You never make the first or third out of an inning at third base, and he chose to do that. He had gone with 1 out, which would have been a decent play had he made it. But then with 2 outs and Aycock, coming to the plate, thrown out at third, did not look very good at that time.
Brad Dillenberger at the plate. Shortstop will take inside from Thorson, who has battled here through 2+ innings.
Dillenberger did not show bunt. Now looks down and see if it might be on with the 1-strike pitch.
We've had 2 great games here in the early going in 3A that have, and I say great in terms of situations like this, where coaches have different options, and then everybody's playing off each other defensively and offensively. So you take a look at Mark Vogel, the head coach at Waterloo, 19 years, 338 victories, 248 defeats. Last year, Bulldogs just 17 and 14. In fact, the 2 previous years before this year's 32-3 record, a 26-30 record.
Coach Vogel, we mentioned it earlier, graduate, so bleeds that Bulldog orange and black.
Lead at first to Aycock, and nothing there.
Pitch out was on, and nothing going right there, so the guessing game continues. The game within the game. Both coaches thinking one play ahead. That's what you need to do as a baseball coach / manager is anticipate ahead of the game. Not as the game progresses, but ahead of the game.
Aycock fakes a break. And that pitch is up high, and Thorson just one pitch away from walking his 5th batter of the game. Leadoff man is reached in each of the first 3 innings for Waterloo.
Great count to run on right now, 3-1. You got a handle of the bat, and Dillenberger, good speed.
Runner stays, fouled off, 3-2, and you got to believe Aycock's going here.
And we've talked about this strategy before, Dave. Normally, say if I'm going to go 3-2, I might as well go 3-1 because you're betting on the hitter or a base on balls. But again, different times you have a different feel and different personnel.
Aycock, you see him stretching that lead a little bit. He stays on 3-2. To the shortstop, Davidson has to go quickly to second to Dixon, and he'll hold it right there. Good decision, and that's out number 1 at second base. Ball not hit hard enough for Davidson to get it to Dixon in a hurry. That will bring up Garrett Schlecht with Dillenberger standing on the bag at first, alongside his first base coach, Lon Fulte.
Hall of Fame, longtime coach Lon Fulte. Took teams to the state tournament in '84 and '88. Defeated Aurora Central Catholic in '88 in the first round, a team I was fortunate to coach, and we were eliminated in a hurry that morning. It was 10:30 and we were packing it up.
Okay, well, what else happened in the 80s with Aurora Central Catholic?
We had some other fortunate times.
Yes.
That one wasn't very fortunate.
State championship and trophy in the ACC trophy case, right?
Exactly.
Drew Peters is down the right field line warming up for Kaneland. Schlecht at the plate takes a big hack and fouls it out of play.
You know, there are so many hitters that we're going to see in this tournament that, you know, the anticipation when they step up to the plate, like you're going to see something special. And right now with Schlecht, you just anticipate he's going to drive a ball hard. And if we can maybe get a picture pan in the outfield, this is about as deep as we've ever seen an outfield play. I mean, left, center, and right. Landers, Camilleri, and Razzo are way out there. Maybe you can see it after this pitch.
Spins Schlecht around. 500 batting average for Schlecht. And you can barely see the right fielder, Jake Razzo. He's not leaning against that, fence out there, but he might as well be. All the way around to left field. That's a deep left fielder right there in the form of Landers. Well, Schlecht a 500 average. He has 7 home runs this year. Driven in 38. He's scored 42 times.
80 runs accounted for right there. I tell you what, that's an opposing pitcher's nightmare.
Dillenberger goes. Throw down. Not in time. Dillenberger behind the tag of Davidson, and so Brad Dillenberger with the stolen base. It comes with Schlecht to the plate. That opens up first base. Last time up, it was a walk.
You see the pitch out, but a little bit too far outside, so that Heinle couldn't get his back foot squared around. He dropped down a little bit, didn't have as much around that throw, but a pretty good jump by Dillenberger there for the SB to move himself into scoring position.
2-2 count to Schlecht. One out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Waterloo a 1-0 lead, looking for more. Dixon for the 2nd out as Dillenberger goes to 3rd. Well, Bobby Thorson just 1 out away here from getting out of this one and surviving yet another leadoff man reaching base. Lucas Wetzler will come to the plate. Dillenberger taking those few steps away from the bag in foul territory. Wetzler bounced into an inning-ending double play in the first inning.
Bob Thorson, a Bulldog who wants the baseball, but they've had great balance in this Kaneland pitching staff, especially throughout the tournament run. Their pitchers have really picked each other up. You know, they've gone deep into their pitching staff all season long.
Waterloo fans getting their money's worth, maybe getting a little bit better view of the action here at Silver Cross Field. Very quickly, Thorson ahead in the count on Wetzler at 0-2.
Bobby Thorson, Kyle Davidson, Drew Peters, Drew French, those guys have all contributed to this run in the state tournament series.
Well, and one of the reasons why is Bobby Thorson on the mound right now. He is so honest with whether he feels good or he's a little bit tired. In fact, one of the tournament games, he had pitched 5 innings after being used quite a bit in 3 straight games. He had said, I think that's about it for me. So Coach Aversa says, okay, I trust when you say that. You won't be the hero out there in terms of trying to go longer than you should. You're doing it for the good of the team, and that always helps when you have those other pitchers, as you mentioned, to pick him up.
And great trust between pitcher and coach there.
0-2 to Wetzler, hits it hard, it's a base hit, it's an RBI, and it's a run for Waterloo, and the Bulldogs take a 2-0 lead. The 46th run batted in of the season for Lucas Wetzler.
Well, that's when you have a very, very good baseball team. When your 9th round draft choice Garrett Schlicht is retired and the guy protecting him in the next spot of the hole can hit like that and drive in 46 runs, that's the sign of a great baseball team. 2 out base hits with runners in scoring position. That is also the sign of good things to come. If you're Waterloo right there, key base hit. The catcher in that leadership position, Wetzler, picks up the big 2-out run.
With Gabe Hopkins at the plate, Zach Klein comes on to be the courtesy runner for Lucas Wetzler. Hopkins waves at that offering from Thorson. Hopkins scored in the 2nd inning after he led it off with a walk. He eventually came in on an RBI single from Alex Wittenauer. To the second baseman, Dixon. That retires a side, but not before the 2-out RBI from Lucas Wetzler. And with that, Waterloo has taken a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the 4th inning at Silver Cross Field in Joliet. And your boys Class 3A state semifinals. We have hit the top of the 4th inning, starting to get serious now for Kaneland. They find themselves in a short end of a 2-0 lead for Waterloo. Both these teams, of course, bidding for their first state championship. It's the first appearance for Kaneland. It's the first time the Knights have won a regional. And that was their goal. One of their goals this year was let's win the regional. And in the back of their minds, it was like, well, let's do a little bit more. And they've just kept on going and going and going. And here they are right now with Bobby Thorson leading it off.
Yeah, they won that regional 2-1 over Sycamore, and you know, some of the quotes was, "This is special, this is awesome," and you know what? I don't think that bears a candle right now to what they're feeling right now when they're going to bring home some hardware from Joliet this weekend.
Well, do you think, you know, we've talked about before, this state baseball tournament goes so quickly. That's just a couple of weeks ago that you're playing in the regional, and now here you're in the second to last day of the baseball season.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it gets on you in a hurry, and it's a war of attrition, if you will, just survival of the fittest, especially in baseball with the single elimination, because as we all know, the best teams don't always win, especially in baseball in a single game. So it's a matter of catching lightning in a bottle at the right time.
Count 2-1 to Thorson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's give credit to A.J. Crutchfield. Very quietly, Crutchfield has had a great first 3 innings. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's pitched out of a couple of jams. Had a couple of errors behind him, and he's worked out of that. He struck out 2, and he has not walked a batter. And there's Crutchfield. There's Thorson. This will be a base hit, and this will go for extra bases. Into the gap. It will roll to the wall. Thorson on the move. He hits second. Heading to third. A stand-up leadoff triple here in the 4th inning for Bobby Thorson.
Well, he had 3 RBIs in the super sectional win against Peoria Notre Dame. He was on base with the E6 his first time, but watch him just keep his hands back and then just lock out his lead leg, get his hips through the baseball. Good hitters hit the ball with their legs. He drives it all the way out to the Herald News sign. Chasing it down was Aycock, finally picked up by Hopkins, but when he's running the bases, Thorson's such a good athlete. Church was out. He was going to get in there safely, no doubt about it. Defense going to play back, concede a run here.
Thorson with his second triple of the season. At the plate, Sam Kamel singled. It was an infield single his last time up. 2-0 lead for Waterloo. Courtesy runner at third base for the pitcher. It's Ray Berry once again. It's twice now that Berry has run for Thorson. Good pitch, just missed. Well, check that. Called strike in the outside corner to Kamel. A ball and a strike. 6'3" senior. Looks at ball 2.
Well, you mentioned Crutchfield was in full command before that triple, and he had walked 0 people today. Only 7 base on balls all year long. When you're left-handed, you can move the ball, you have some off-speed stuff, and you don't walk people, you're going to be a highly effective pitcher.
Went down and in that time. And Kamel, the count evens on him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
All about moving hitters' eyes, inside, outside, up and down. Movement, velocity, and placement. The MVPs of pitching.
Big strikeout from Crutchfield. It's the first out here in the 4th inning. His 3rd K of the game. Now his coach will come out, Mark Vogel, to have a conversation. That will give us a chance to remind you that if you'd like to order a DVD copy of this event, or in fact any IHSA championship event, just search the database at prepfilms.com. Prepfilms.com, that's your online store for IHSA tournament films.
Coach Vogel told us that the 9 seniors that Sophia told us have graduated and that will continue to move on, and we talked about their baseball prowess. He said what a special group it is. These guys have basically, those 9 people have played together since 7th grade. 7th, 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's an awful lot of baseball, an awful lot of time sharing on and off the field, and you become as one when you play together for that long a period of time, and you become, you know, almost symmetric in symmetry with what your thoughts are on and off the diamond.
Drew French at the plate. He popped up a bunt attempt his first time up. Crutchfield, it's that outside corner. I'm wondering in the situation here, runner at third, 1 out, and French at the plate, what inspired Mark Vogel to head out to the mound, the topic of conversation. He has his infield back. Ball and a strike to French.
Drew French, a .322 hitter. He does have 23 RBIs, so he can get people in.
Short lead at third for Berry.
Got a free run here with the defense back.
Now, in speculating on 2-1 here, the reason for the conversation, possible pickoff play at third base. Of course, third baseman right now, Brian Schwab is off the line. And it's a short lead by Berry. Figures he's going to score on a ground ball up the middle anyway. And that's the job for French here as the count goes 3-1. Put the ball in play. It's a pretty big pitch right here in a 2-0 game. You're 1 pitch away from putting French on and playing first and third with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. Count goes to 3-2.
So Crutchfield wins the battle, at least for that pitch. But the battle's not over as French now has a little bit different approach. He was sitting 3-1, looking for 1 pitch, 1 area. Now 3-2 with a runner in scoring position. He's got to be short of the ball, get up off the bottom, get the front foot out early, and just put it in play mentality.
He fouls it again. Good location by Crutchfield. He just making it very tough to square up the ball, though Thorson did to lead off this inning with a triple to the wall in right center.
Kaneland's winning streak has beaten Morris, Wheaton Academy, Wheaton St. Francis, Batavia, West Aurora, Sandwich, IMSA, Sycamore, Marion Catholic Woodstock, or Marion Woodstock, Marmion, and Peoria Notre Dame with their winning streak.
12 games in a row as French will head down to first base with the one-out walk. First walk of the day by Crutchfield. With French at first, Barry at third, Jake Razzo, who flew out to center field his last time up, will come to the plate.
Quality at bat by French, who fouled off a couple good pitches, draws a base on balls. And here's our Razzo, as you talked about, our favorite number, 88.
88.
Couldn't steal number 8 from Coach Aversa. Now we know.
Schlecht holding, French on at first. Schaub off the line at third. Crutchfield, 80-mile-per-hour pitch.
Saw Coach Mark Vogel like dart out of the dugout and point right, moving his center fielder, Aaron Aycock, away from left center into the right center field gap.
And that will get partially deflected, but enough for an infield base hit and a run for Kaneland. It's 2-1. An RBI by Jake Razzo scores Barry from third. It advances French to second. Still only one out here in the fourth.
Well, the leadoff triple finally gets in. Picking him up was Razzo. He does not hit this ball extremely hard, but what do they say? It had eyes. Hard enough to get past the first baseman Schaub, and then in the hole, Dillenberger runs it down, but could not make a play. All hands on board, safe.
Dixon, the number 8 hitter, up. Struck out his first time up. Goes right side hitting. Sends it into right field. French being waved around third. Here's the throw from Hopkins. Sliding in safely with the tying run is Drew French. We're knotted up 2-2 on the RBI single from Brian Dixon.
And playing first at third was Razzo, so aggressive base running by Kaneland. Brian Aversa, he's going to have that left arm going lickety-split as he chested the arm of Gabe Hopkins. Gabe Hopkins threw a rocket to home plate. Lucas Wetzer, but just a bit late. We had a good slide and a bang-bang play at home, but the Knights have knotted things up with a deuce.
Only the 15th run batted in for Brian Dixon, who came into this tournament with a .215 batting average. Still only one out with Ty Heinley at the plate. And now Wetzler will come out from home plate, set his